We're live. Cool. Tommy, Todd Schroth here. Agents Who Win. I just want to thank you for being here. I want to bring value back every week to our audience of just different ideas on how we can give back to the agent community. Ways to find business, refer business, etc. You and I met earlier this week, and it was a great combo on Monday. So this is a good segue into this week's show. We've got a mutual friend who who connected us, which is referral-based business, obviously. And I'm glad they did, because I've learned a lot on our call on Monday. But tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we can kind of dive in.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for having me. Super excited. It's fantastic. I always love the opportunity to share the message of how fun it is to do business with referral. So I think the story in the background is just I was always trying to, I live in Orlando. Obviously, I'm from Wisconsin, all that fun stuff. But I really have always wanted to figure out how to build a business in a way that was in alignment with the core of who I feel I am. I think people struggle. I struggled when it came to trying to build out with cold calling and door knocking and that sort of methodology. And so I really the background is just, I've been on this huge quest to figure out how to build relationships in a way that is really reliable, repeatable, systematic, trainable to other people, because this is my passion at the end of the day. Like, how do we build relationships? You look at the most successful people in the world, and they have great relationships. The most successful people in business, you say, how did you do it? Well, I built relationships. They say, well, tell me more. How did you do that? Well, I don't know. I just kind of naturally did it. And that's the answer I always got. So the background has just been my whole entrepreneur career. I've been trying to figure out that wall that I would hit. How do I get through that wall of, okay, the first few people joined me, right? Bought the house, whatever, your initial sphere. How do you meet new people and develop and actually make a go of it as kind of a solopreneur? So that's the background at the end of the day.
That's funny, because my whole year I think I've taken one online lead, and I'm in the lead generation business, but I've closed 65 deals personally, and 64 of those have been repeat or referral. And so it's like, how does it happen? I don't know. I don't know why they call me. I know that I've worked with a lot of them before, or I just have enough branding out there and my sign on enough crap that people have said, oh my God, there's Todd. Let's call him. I mean, we don't stay in touch as much as we should, and if we stayed in touch a lot more, then we could increase that number. Part of your system is based off the 7 levels of communication, and I was talking with a gentleman earlier in my office about it, and I'm like, I gave him the analogy of, I got referred to you through Jenna, who's referred to me through Donna, who's referred to me through someone else. So if I got an opportunity, if you referred me a buyer, I'd be like, hey, Tommy, thanks for the buyer. And I'd call Jenna and say, hey, Jenna, thanks for the buyer. Who? Tommy, you referred me a buyer, and he referred you to me. And then call Donna and say, thanks for the connect. And they'd be like, who? But you're reaching further back to where the initial conversation came from.
Yeah, the great retrace.
It is. Right, it's literally, it's marketing. It's a marketing funnel down to where the original plot came from.
Yeah.
And I do that with our online stuff. If, I met you through Zillow and you bought a house, then you referred me your brother to buy something, I know that lead was still a Zillow lead because it's where the initial conversation came from. So you kind of track it back that way.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna use Jenna as an example.
Yeah.
She's posting right now.
Yay! Hi, Jenna.
About 3-4 months ago, we had lunch, and she was talking about kind of what next steps to go with her business, because she kind of got on a standstill, and then she met you through BNI group, and I've been in part of 2 BNI groups, and personally found no value in them, because there's so many people, so many realtors trying to get involved in them, and the referral connections back and forth, and I know they can be a great source, and this obviously worked out very well. But you guys real estate was not in your business at all. It was not part of it, but you coach, you kind of take some of the real estate referral stuff and put it in, I think it's healthcare and financial services and stuff. And now you've taken her from, kind of a stop in the business to 9 contracts in 6 days. I was like, I see her on Facebook. I'm like, my God, she's on fire. What's going on? So What did you do to her that took her from like, what am I going to do the next 4 months to holy crap, I'm going to like double my business this year?
Yeah, thanks. So obviously, first I have to here's the thing, coaches are the answers within you, right? So it's like, I have to give credit. She took the action. When I said, Jenna's a great example. And this is so key though, with people. It's like, if you're going to work with someone, Jenna is great. We have two components to how we work together. One of those is she says, tell me what to do. And I tell her what to do and she does it. And that's more on the mentoring side of like, okay, here's your next step. Just do this. And that's been a lot of it. But to kind of put it in summation, and it kind of, along with the title, right, with 3 steps to build a referral business without cold calling or advertising, like step 1, we focus on the personal growth. So what we did is we started with a concept called high performance coaching. It's based on the book called High Performance Habits from Brendon Burchard. Because where Jenna was at, she was not only not wanting to know, not really sure what to do in her business, but also a lot going on. I mean, just had a new baby in June, right? And has one also 5 years, I think, right? Don't kill me, Jenna. Okay, good. So 5 years, right? So like she had all of that going on, stressing out because the transactions weren't coming. So we started with, or the pipeline wasn't full, right? So we started with high performance coaching, which goes through like getting clarity, managing energy, raising levels of productivity. Each one is a dedicated 1-hour session where it's curriculum driven. And so that really got Jenna moving because it shifted. This is my perception. She may say something different. My perception is she shifted identity, her way of being, into I want to be the best and I'm capable of being the best. And so as that shift starts to happen, she started taking even more action to what I was actually telling her to do. And that led to step 2, which is attraction. So it's like, it's attract, inspire, grow. So, but you begin with the end in mind. So we start with grow. So the growth created more attraction opportunities because she's starting to feel this progress and people start to notice the transformation, the change in energy. And along with that, she got really clear on who she does and doesn't want to work with. And that's a big part of attraction, is really knowing how to express yourself and who you are and who you want to work with. So for example, knowing that one of the things she identified is I want to work with appreciative people. So she really pays a lot of attention in her relationships to who's appreciative and finding those great connections, finding the generosity, the people who are really generous and the people who are appreciative, and building the business on the values first, no matter what someone does, but just building on that. So that's kind of what came. The growth leads into a lot of attraction. It sounds kind of woo-woo, but it's actually like really strategic along the way, because when you meet someone, what she knows how to do now is whenever she meets someone, she can determine right away, pretty quickly, if this is someone that I have good energy with, what are their values? Do they have a true belief in relationship building? And from what I understand in the real estate realm, it's very much like it's a really kickback heavy. And so sometimes it can be hard to form relationships if you're not huge on kickbacks and those sorts of things. So like,
you use the term kickback, but the concept.
Yeah, exactly. The concept, right? So it's like you have to find the other people who really care about the relationship and really want to work through that. So we did an exercise where we go through our database and literally ranked people 1, 5, 10. Meaning, where do I feel the energy is, regardless of what the person does? We go, what do I feel my energy is with this person? How do I view the relationship? Then, as we started to contact each individual person. So this gets into inspire, which is step 3. So we want to identify who we want to work with and then inspire them to work with us and pay attention to who's responding. So we went through the database 1, 5, 10, started reaching out and having an intentional conversation to say, hey, I want you to know I appreciate our relationship or how we've been in the business or whatever it is. And I would like to step up my communication and be your trusted professional. If you were looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, who would you recommend? And just see if there's an opportunity there for you to become the trusted professional. Once she has that conversation, she then has a follow-up plan to continue to communicate, because you set the intention, I'm going to communicate because I want to earn the right to be your trusted person.
Right.
And so that when you come across someone, right? So we've been going through our database. It sounds so simple, and it is, but that is literally exactly what we've done. We've combined the mindset work of high performance coaching with really intentional reach out and really intentional communication, which is where 7L comes in terms of putting into a system. So now she's built her kind of personal 150, or she's building, right, her personal 150 people. Because if you think about it, like, we go out, we try to market, there's 7.5 billion people in the world. And we try to market to all these people, and we have great tools like social media and Google and all these other things. But Jesus built a 2,000-year empire, right, with 12 disciples. So we need to find our 12, we need to find our ambassadors, right? And systematically identify who that is and be able to drive the relationship intentionally towards what we want, because it's all about value to the business and genuinely caring along the way. So I just threw a ton there. So hopefully that wasn't too much, but it's that's basically what we did. You know, it's going through, look at the relationships and pairing that with the personal growth as things come along, as success suicide starts to hit. Oh my gosh, I go, no, like, it's really easy. She got really sick at one point.
Yeah.
So like that happens. You start having success one way or another, you will get thrown off your rocker, and being able to jump back on board and having the mindset tools to jump back in, not beat yourself up, pick up where you left off and keep going. Right. That is what's so important. And that's what causes that, like this in the business, right? Where you're up and down all the time. So that's been a big part.
And you've got to stay consistently going up and increasing, because, again, why I've done so much this year is because I've been doing it for 20 years and I've got a huge database of clients. I should call all of them. I should stop now and call them all and say, hey, who would you refer next? Or who, if you were to buy or sell, who would you refer to? Some are very loyal, and you don't even have to talk to them when they think real estate. They think Todd.
Yeah.
But you got to remind them that you're in the business. And I'm not one to post. I post too much stuff on Facebook. A lot of it's just garbage because I feel like posting it. But so it's not, hey, I just sold this house, or I just did this, or look at all my awards. It's, you need to, those are subtle reminders or subtle or light successes that we're having, and we want to, celebrate those wins. But I think we can't let it get to our heads either. But that's the way I'm kind of like, why I'm on Facebook so much is because I'm posting, other real estate things so people can remember that I'm out there. But you have your friends that now are getting on Parler because they don't want to be on Facebook because of politics, whatever. I only want to be on one social media platform.
Yeah, one's enough. One's enough.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard enough posting to Instagram, so it posts to Facebook.
Yeah,
exactly. But it's
everything linked.
You have I think I have a couple hundred people in our. We got 10, 15,000 people in our database, but 150 of those or 300 of them really know, like, and trust us. And it's what is the conversation to get out in front of them to where it's. I guess let me back up. It's a good idea to kind of start where you're going, because it's a phone call to your client and to people that you talked to. If you talked to them last week, cool, talk to them again. If you haven't talked to them in 3 years, it's a good way to get in touch with them again. But how do you make it not sound like a sales call?
Yeah. The thing with the intention call is there's a couple components to it. One is the expression of appreciation helps to make that a little bit easier because you're starting out with an appreciation, and then you go into the call not necessarily with the intention of finding out if they currently have a need. But in this particular call, you're calling to find out if they came across anyone that you just confirming that you're the person, right? And then like you can take that conversation a lot of different ways. You can just, hey, if you're calling just to check in, then you can say, how's it going? How are things with COVID? Like, are you making it through? And just really going with a heart to help,
right?
And just saying, is there anything? Part of the intention call is saying, listen, I want to be a trusted resource for anything that you need. not just buy or sell a house, but like anything. So you need a plumber, call me. You need an electrician, call me. You need healthcare, call me. Whatever it is, because I want to be a connector and a sort of influence and a resource for you. So when you're calling to set up that intention that you want them to call you for anything, it creates the I'm here to help idea in their head. And then if the conversation doesn't directly lead to an opportunity, that's fine. You're just called to set an intention and to express that and earn the right. If the conversation goes to the route of, well, hey, I'm glad you called because I know someone, or I'm glad you called because I'm looking, or whatever it is, then you can take it that direction. But if you just, it's about not having the mindset behind it is just, I'm calling to help and be a resource, because you're calling to help them, but you're also calling to help your network at the same time. And that is what takes away. I think people get afraid of the call for two reasons. One is they haven't talked to them for a while, so they feel like it's a sales call.
Right.
There are coaches out there. This lady in my BNI chapter was working with a coach before I really stepped into this, and was like, call it 20 people from 20 years ago you graduated high school with, and hey, how are you doing? Great. Well, I just want to let you know I do blah, 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 and this is how I'm helping people, and blah, 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 blah. It's just throwing up all over them. And I'm like, okay, you need to get out of that contract. And she did. Thank you, legal Schroth. But I was like, okay, don't do that. How about this? The reason why people don't call is because they're afraid they don't have a relationship. So when you do the ranking system that I do, going into it, your perception of the relationship, and you're just calling to help. And that makes it a lot easier. And then once you're on the phone, it's just not being concerned about if it leads to an opportunity, because you're not calling for an opportunity. You're calling to set and say, hey, I'm checking in to see how you're going. Is there anything I can do to help you? And if the answer is no, it's like, okay, well, I'll stay in touch. Is it okay if I send you a newsletter? You could throw that in. There's a lot of different things you can do to drive the communication forward in the relationship. But that's the easiest way to just get over that idea, is remind yourself repeatedly, I'm here to help. And that's where the coaching comes in, because when we go through like a process, okay, what are 3 words that describe how you want to interact with other people? And so when you say caring, giving, loving, appreciative, when those words come out and you remind yourself of those words prior to making the calls, you say, okay, who do I want to be on this call? That gets over the mindset, because you stop thinking about you and start thinking about other people.
I'm not a phone person per se, where I've made a living off of picking up and calling for sale by owners and expireds. And I was telling this John earlier that I was showing a sale by owner to a friend of mine who wants to actually buy it. So I had call reluctance of, I'm already preparing myself for failure in the phone call. Hey, this is the XP Realty. I have a buyer's interest in your property. Are you cooperating? Normally they're going to be like, no, screw you, hang up. And so I already had that conversation. She goes, yeah, we're cooperating. I'm a former realtor, et cetera. Just retired. I'm moving to Tennessee, et cetera. And immediately my mindset changed of how the call was going to go. It's like, okay, cool. Can I show it tomorrow at 10 o'clock? And we'll come out and take a look at it. And, we talked some details and stuff. But it was like I went in with the perception that I was like already trying to expect her that I was calling for the listing, where I was not calling for the listing. I don't want the listing. I just want to show my buyer. And I don't show a lot of sale by owners. If I'm going to show it, it's either because they pinpointed this particular property and or something else. And that's why this one got called. And so I already, I'm preparing myself for failure, expecting to have an argument with the person on the phone. So you've just got to, like you said, get that call perception out of your head ahead of time, and then you can go into the call with a lot more success.
Yeah,
with the intention call. Especially right now with COVID, you can still check in and see how people are going. And the holidays, if there's anything we can do for you, or what do you have going on? Yeah,
exactly. And I was going to say on the mindset thing is when asking yourself before the call, what's the best way this call can go? And actually defining that in your mind creates a better interaction, because you're preparing yourself for the best case rather than the worst case, right? Along the way, which also goes well, especially for that situation. You had to basically call and say, hey, so you have no idea how it's going to go. The best you can do is set yourself up for the good thing, and then remember that and celebrate it. So the next time that happens, well, the last time it was great. But sorry, I went back to what was it you just said?
The call intent, just going with the intent. I don't remember.
Yeah.
We couldn't get off on a little tangent.
Sorry. It's like, calling about, checking in and that sort of thing. And the reason for the attention call was just what I found in the B2B space, because I was really focusing on, healthcare broker. And this is where it's different when you're calling a consumer versus when you're calling a networking contact. They're going to be different conversations. So when you're calling a networking contact, this makes total sense. Hey, I want to step up my communication. I want to be your trusted professional. And you can use a little bit different language in things where you call a consumer. It could be a slightly different, but you're still ultimately calling with the idea to help. And the reason why I put that in was what I found is if I didn't set that intention as to why I'm communicating, right, then I would communicate, and I wasn't getting any reciprocity. I wasn't getting anything back because they didn't understand I was communicating to earn the right to be the trusted professional. Even if I already was, I was still saying I want to step it up a level. So when you start to execute a communication plan where you're calling your best people on a regular basis, or the people with the most potential to be able to refer you, setting the intention at the beginning that I'm going to call to help, but the intention is to earn the right to be that person. And I'm not saying you have to refer me. I'm not saying you always have to refer me or every call, but just know that the reason why I'm communicating is to earn the right to be that, because I am in business and it's about value to after 5 o'clock, you can hang out. It's like whatever, but between the hours of 9 to 5, we'll say, I know real estate is working on weekend, but like the business hours is about value to your business, and you communicate at a higher level based on people's value to your business. At the end of the day,
the deals that I didn't get, your call is I've got to earn the right. And if I walked out of that appointment without the listing, or I saw them list with someone else 3 years later after I sold it to them or I knew them, I didn't earn that right to that listing, even though I thought I had it. Apparently I dropped the ball somewhere, so I had to go back and earn that business again. So it's a good point there. So like for Jenna, for example, she went from nothing to 9 contracts in 6 days. Those are all referral business. And, I'm sitting here spending money on Zillow and pay-per-click and service ads and, all kinds of stuff trying to bring business in, which cost a lot. I mean, think about the value of a referral. The cost is zero. It's just a relationship cost. And so whatever your budgets are on all this lead generation we do, these referral companies that are out there charging 25, 35% plus, the $5, $10, $20,000 we're spending in all this online stuff. Think about what you can do to give back to your clients and just, making the calls to those people. Zillow calls me, they want to buy a house. We already have an agent. Oh, you didn't tell me after we showed you the house and you wanted to make an offer on it. Those people that you're talking to through this process, ones that know, like, and trust you, and I think are going to be more apt to continue to do business with you. They go to an open house. They're going to say they have an agent because you've drilled that into their head versus, hey, go call anybody else you want. So I think there's a lot of value there behind this. So what does coaching look like with you?
Yeah, so what we're doing a 3-month program.
Okay.
Where we are taking that high performance coaching side and running that in group. So we're doing 2 sessions a month.
Okay.
For 3 months. And so it goes through the sessions are focal points, which establishes your kind of where you're at and where you want to focus on for the next few months in terms of raising. So it's holistic, right? It's life in general. And of course, finances are one of that. So that kind of ties into business. So we do focal points, get really clear on where we are, what we need to continue doing wherever we are good in our business or in our life. If you're like, I have a great spirituality practice, I'm a 10 out of 10, great. How do we make sure you keep that? And keep doing the things that are working. And then when you're on a lower score, what do you need to do to raise it? So that's focal points. Then we do clarity. So that's not the way people typically think. It's more like clarity around who you want to be and how you want to interact with people and like what the kind of the big vision is around that. So clarity, which is where I like the 3 words and stuff like that we go through in there. So you get really clear on who you want to be in the market and in life, right? We go through energy. So energy is like people always think productivity and they think I need more time and time management, but energy is more important, because if you have no energy, or you're draining your energy, or if you're not paying attention to your energy, you can have nothing to do on the calendar, but you won't do anything because you're exhausted. I was in certified referral training for the second time last night with Maher, author of 7L. And I got done and like, I was dead to the world. I mean, it was 6 o'clock and I'm like laying in bed, texting people going, I have no energy left. Right. So I'm aware of that. I know when to just tie it up. I'm done for the day. Right. So anyway, but the problem is if that happens at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we've got issues. Like we've got to figure out how to maintain energy. What does it take for you to recharge your energy?
Right.
Go through energy. Then clearing energy, courage. So courage, talking about call reluctance, right? Courage is about powerful conversations at the end of the day. There's courage in a lot of areas, right? Overcoming fear takes a burst of courage, but really getting clear on being able to identify where you need to have a courageous conversation. And credit to Jenna, she has already, as the business started to increase, conversations needed to be had with people in her network about different things, right?
Yeah.
It could take a lot of courage just to ask someone who they would, who their chosen one is, who they would use if they knew someone was looking to buy, sell, or invest. So, courage is really important. Clearing energy, courage. Okay, productivity. Now, again, with productivity, people tend to think mainly around tasks, right? It's like checking off the task, but that's not true productivity. True productivity is, what's the big project I want to work on? Like, what am I really trying to move forward in my life? And making sure that we're moving towards that, because when you're moving towards that, you feel productive, and that raises up. So productivity, and then influence is natural, right? That's like the game of business is about learning influence. So really figuring out how to influence people, understanding how to influence people. So those are the 6 sessions that we do in group format, 2 a month for 3 months. And then I'm marrying that, I pair that with all the strategy that we've discussed. So starting up, going through your database, ranking your people, contacting them. Now, here's the thing. If you're afraid of calls, if you're like, I don't think I could do it, we have 4 different ways you can get people to engage with you based on your comfort level and personality style.
Okay.
So you don't have to the coaches out there, just pick up the freaking phone. Just pick up the freaking phone. Yes, but here's the thing. What we need to do is build your confidence. And the way we build your confidence is, let's give you a tool you can reach out to someone and start the conversation. I personally don't like to call people unannounced. But I'll send you a text and say, hey, are you available for 10 minutes? And they're like, yeah, okay, great, I'll call. No problem. Yeah. But because what I hate is like you call someone, they're like in the grocery store and it's, oh yeah, they're not present. So do you know how much mental energy it takes for me to just call someone? It's like you go through all that mental prep, you call them, they answer, and they can't even talk to you. It's like, come on, man, you're killing me. Now I got to go through this. So it's like, okay, let's find a way to make it, if you want to be a permission-based style of calling, that's cool too.
Right.
So different ways to help people call. So you contact people, set intentions, and then create your grading plan so you know exactly who to communicate with and how. And it's an ongoing thing, right? But it's like, it helps you build that initial database. So what we're doing with that is actually have it in like a self-guided course. So it's like, watch a video, fill out a worksheet, make sure you're understanding things, take an action. And then there's daily metrics that like literally you get an email every day. So you get the accountability, which is what people want. You get accountability, but it's a little bit more automated. But the cool thing is I can see it. So if people are like not putting in any numbers for 5 days, I can go like, hey, I can reach out. Hey, you haven't put any metrics in, like what's going on? Are you okay? And it allows that human touch, but also just keeping it top of mind. Are you doing the calls? Are you sending the notes? Are you doing, whatever it is that you need to do? So that's more automated. And then we pair that with like once a month, just having a Q&A call. That's around all the strategies that we've kind of covered. Like if you get stuck somewhere, and I want to build in, I'm building in also like 15-minute rapid fire. So if you really get stuck, like I'm here, like I want, just like Jenna, like I want everyone to have Jenna's success. Like I want people to, I am in this so much. I've been at this for 10 years, trying to figure out how to help people be successful in business who are solopreneurs. And it's like, whatever I can do to help facilitate that, like that's like, I'm put on this earth to help people build relationships. So it's like, it's one of those things. So that's what we're doing. So we're doing that kind of combination. It's only 3 months because we're like figuring out from there, where it's going to go and what people are really needing. And we're open to adjusting it as we do that. So it's $500 a month for that. And, so $1,500 for the 3 months. Obviously Jenna's, 9 contracts, 6 days, like not to mention a whole bunch of other stuff. Right.
So let's stop there for a second. So think about how much money did I pay Zillow this month? And I can wait, I only closed one deal and the rest were rentals and other agents calling for my other, random other stuff and political calls, whatever it is. And so I could take that money, put it into a quarter of what I'm spending and put it into 3 months with you and gain people that are going to trust me and want to work with me. Yeah.
And we start with the people that are like the warmest to you, right? Your best relationships. So you're going to get you build the confidence as you create competence it's called the confidence competence loop in high performance. And it's like you will build your confidence because you're working with the best people. As you go through, you start to get more comfortable, and then you're able to execute at a higher level. But yeah, on that, it's like, I mean, I will tell you, Jenna started working with me in mid to late August.
Okay.
And this was, so literally September, October, we're halfway through November.
Yeah.
So in that 3 months, I mean, there's so much more we have to accomplish together, but she's killing it so much. I'm like, it's okay. It's cool. Like, let's just make sure we keep this going. Let's just execute. It doesn't even need another level. So, I mean, if you think in 3 months, you can't get that kind of result, because there's a lot of myths out there that like, oh, it takes a long time to build relationships. And, it doesn't, they're there. Like Jenna, one of the best things she said to me was like, she said, I already had everything I needed. I just like, people were there. I just had to step up and communicate. And I'm like, yes, welcome to 7L. Welcome to the generosity generation, right? So that's the thing.
It's actually doing it. I mean, you made the comment when we spoke on Monday about, she's somebody that's taking action like 100%. A lot of times I'll get involved with a coach, or anybody does. And okay, if you do these things, you're going to, let's talk in next week, see how you did. Well, you get into next week, we've only done 20% of it because I didn't feel comfortable with the other 8 things that need to be done. And there were things that had to be done to be successful.
Yeah.
So she's taking whatever you say 100% and moving forward with it. And it's, if you're doing that, that's what you have to, that's why you have coaching. You got to pull out of us, what we're not willing to do and get us to stuff.
Yeah. And one of the big things with her was the alignment, that doing business this way, this specific, it's all based on the values of love, generosity, and appreciation. So you're always leading with generosity, you're leading with appreciation. And that is what inspires people to want to work with you. So it's like, it was that you can, if that's a style of business you want to do, you're doing it and you're literally having fun because you're just connecting with people, but because it's strategic, you're able to create the opportunities on the back end for it. But at the end of the day, it's like calling a friend and building it that way. And we didn't even touch on events yet, which is a whole nother level of fun. But that was a big part of it. When I asked her, what was the experience like previously? She's like, they were kind of doing the hard approach, like the lady I spoke of that was taking the call from 20 years ago kind of thing and have this awkward conversation. And this is all meant to just be human,
right?
And at the same time, be strategic.
That's funny. You talk about the call from 20 years ago. One of my listings I have right now is from somebody that I sold 20 years ago. It was one of my first sales in the business. And they don't see me on social media. We see them around town once every couple of years. And when you get a call, hey, we want to sell our house. It's like, oh my God, you remembered us. It's awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And, we're not up and down our street waving our signs and flags and all that stuff. So and again, out of communication, I should have been in touch with them more often. I could have generated more referral business if I would have communicated with them more often. But the fact that they're still calling us back to do something with them, which helps. But I'm scared to call somebody 20 years ago that I sold a house to, or 10 years ago, let alone a week ago.
Hey, at least it was a client. I mean, it's like, it's some of this. I mean, think about people, make a list, and again, it's like, what if you haven't talked to them at all since high school? No interaction. And then they have you call and just try to throw up on them about what you're doing and try to ask for a referral on that first call. It's like, there's no relationship yet. Like you gotta, it's emotional bank account, right? How to win friends and influence people. It's like deposit, withdrawal, deposit. You gotta get the deposits in. And I cringe at some of the methodologies out there, honestly, man, because it's just like, it's not paying attention to relationship. And if you do that, people do business with people. We're in a human experience. There's only the relationship with ourselves and others. So we have to, if we layer that, you can build like, know, and trust so strong that you don't have to even sell, because they're already like, yeah, where do I sign up? You know, at the end of the day.
Yeah, just really come down to service. I mean, when you get the referral service, then they're going to bring you more referrals, and that's just how you can continue to build your business. And you know, I've got some agents that I know that are like I don't know why they're not 100%, but they're like, we're 98% repeat and referral. And I'm like, how do I gain another 2% there? It's from sign calls, whatever. But I would love to just base a business strictly off of that and get a team doing that as well. Like when we have a new agent join our team, we say, okay, we're going to spend the first 30 days, obviously onboarding you to our systems and everything, and bring us your top 50. We're going to help you build business off of that. That's what I want, because those are the ones who are going to know, like, and trust. If you're new, you know, we're going to help you leverage us to help you leverage your people to why I want to work with you. And I mean, because that's where those are the ones that are going to stick around a lot longer versus, hey, I can make your phone ring. I mean, we can pump 10 grand on Google and make it spend, make it ring. But are those people going to be buying and selling today? And are they going to remember you tomorrow when you hang up from them? Unless you continually call and provide value back to them. Yeah,
it's so true. Like even in marketing, right? It's like, you know, people, problem and solution. That's true. But if you the way to keep it going is by keeping the relationship. If it's just transactional, then that's why you end up having to constantly hunt the next deal, because it's just a transaction.
Yeah. My mom's I'm a second generation real estate agent, and so she was telling me, it's like our agents will sit there and prospect, sell, close, and then what are we at the end of the month? We got to start all over again.
Yeah,
if you
exhausting.
Blocking your times, you know, to be able to be in front of your people and keep things going with it.
Yeah, exactly. And then we throw events in, you know, do it on relationship and throw events in. Life becomes even more fun.
So talk about that for a minute. I'm new to events. We started doing events about 3 years ago, and it's been a big win for us. We started doing like fall festivals, movie events. I mean, that obviously changed this year, but we pivoted our events this year a little bit. But what do you do with events?
Yeah, the magic with events is well, first of all, there's a specific invite process to get people to an event. Okay. So like, you know, posting on social media does not, you know, you could post every day, all day, and it's still not going to drive probably the turnout that you're really looking for. Right. So it's a specific system, but what makes events work so well is you put great people together and do it as a give back, but having sponsors, right? So the main components are having a sponsor. So they are covering the cost of whatever it is that you're doing. So when I ran events, I did a nacho average happy hour. So we had, I know, right? So we had nachos. Yeah. You know, so we had nachos and first drink for free. So that was covered by sponsorships. Now sponsors can be tough to, you know, you may say, oh, who do I know is going to sponsor? But the magic is when people came in, they filled out a door prize form. Now, the top of the form is required to get a door prize. The bottom half is asking people if they have any interest or any referrals. So as real estate, it's like, do you know anyone looking to buy, sell, invest? And say you have like a sponsor that's like a mortgage professional. Well, then you can say, do you know anyone, you know, are you interested in looking at refinancing your house, right? That might be a good opportunity for them. So the sponsors have the opportunity to directly generate an ROI of the sponsorship money. So like, it makes a ton of sense. And then raise money for charity. So you get the generosity component. And the whole thing is you're never once selling. You are or presenting or anything. You're just bringing people together and appreciating them and having fun in the process, but able to also generate business because you have these components in place and it doesn't have to actually cost you anything. And as you build it, you can actually make money on the sponsorships as well, above and beyond the thing. So that's actually how I started, was running the event system that Michael teaches and getting really comfortable with that process. And then being able to, and then with COVID, obviously like you had to stop, shift, adjust, and went more into the one-on-one style and really zoned in on this startup process with your database. So when you start doing this with your database, you set the intention okay, the next reason to call, invite to an event.
Right.
And it's the greatest way in the world to say, hey, I'd love to see you there. And there's a million different methodologies, right? You can do, I did the Nacho Average Happy Hour. I've done a mastermind. I had Thrill the World Orlando, which I was hoping would have 100 people doing Thriller behind me all at the same time. But COVID put an end to that for the year. But, so the idea behind events is like finding what you love to do and then do that.
Right.
At the end of the day. I mean, you can poll people and see what they want to attend as well. But like, I just like to have fun and bring people together and mingle. And it's just fun. And it's a great way to generate business.
It's funny you talk about the Nacho Average Happy Hour. We did a shirt that says Nacho Average Real Estate Team.
I love it.
Next year, we did that 3 years ago. We held our first happy hour because we did it during Cinco de Mayo. And so next year, maybe we'll do the Nacho.
That's perfect. We can do Nacho Average Happy Hour. We'll do one. That's perfect.
Nacho Average Happy Hour.
Yeah. So, from the Nacho Average team.
And hopefully it's on Taco Tuesday. It'd be
oh my gosh. I can't even believe that. I cannot believe you have Nacho Average Real Estate Team that goes with that. That's hilarious.
Taco Happy. It was a good theme. It would have been great if we could have done it this year because we had Taco Tuesday on Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah. I know.
Happened. Some of the things we did to pivot this year with our events, we usually do the happy hour movie event and a fall festival, which we bring all the kids and stuff into a parking lot with games and things, food truck and all kinds of stuff. We have 200 people there, but like the happy hour we ended up not doing. So we ended up since everyone was home, we did beach towels and delivered them to their houses, branded beach towels, and just a way to stop and see everyone. And then we did a pumpkins and pictures thing last weekend, blocked everybody out. But again, some people came all dressed up for the event. Some were in costumes. So every 5 or 10 minutes, we had a family sit down at the hay, get a picture, go to the next. And we wanted to keep it COVID friendly. So kind of push through the line. But it was a way for us to pivot off of the fall festival to this event. The follow-up is then sending the pictures back out to them and seeing them. Now I'm seeing our pictures all over Facebook that we're taking. So it's really cool.
Yes. To see them exactly. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you're building a tribe, you're building a community. Yeah. So and that's a big component. Is like viewing it as your tribe, your community of people, and it's like, and when you get them to share your things because they had a great time, it creates this natural, organic word of mouth. But that's being based on the people who already like, know, and trust you. So it just works so well to do it that way. A lot better than having to pound pavement, right? And this sort of thing. So it's a great system, and the magic too is it's in the invitation and it's in the follow up. It's in the thank you calls. It's in the and on the front end, it's just always having something to invite to. Right. Is a great way to build a relationship as well. Whether it's just a phone call or a networking event, or not again, I'm talking more on referral partners, like in the networking space there, but always having something to invite people to. I'm partnered with someone. We're doing an event next Thursday. So I said it's crazy because over time, your people become trained that they better RSVP, because if they don't, you're going to bug them every week until they do. So it's like, so you could literally just create an event and send it out. Once you've done 3 or 4 of them, you send it out and they know, like, RSVP right away. Like I sent out 40 invitations this morning and I already have maybe half a dozen responses just from today for an event this next week. So they know, like, RSVP, I'm going to be calling you every day.
Yeah. Well, that's when I saw the Calendlies coming in for the pumpkins and pictures. I was like, crap, it's already happened and cool. I was excited to see the calendar start filling up. Yeah, exactly. So it's good. Thommy, I want to thank you for your time today. Anybody, if you guys want to book a call with Thommy, go to Talk to Thommy, and I haven't seen Thommy spelled this way, but Thommy
with an H. It's funny, who has Talk with Thommy without an H? Thommy with an agent. And it's a real estate agent, which made me laugh because I was looking for it. Yeah. Look, here's the thing. If you want to book it, I'm not hard sales. Can you tell? Like, it's all relationship, right? Yeah. So I'm going to give, I would love to talk to people and just find out where they are and what their biggest pain points. So you've heard a lot on both sides. I like getting that feedback because I figure out what people really need and then I develop based on that. So I can it doesn't matter if you're like, no, there's no way, it's out of the budget, whatever, that's fine. Still book, because I may say, hey, this is a good resource for you. Hey, listen to this podcast episode, buy this book. I'll just give you the next step based on where your business is and based on where your network is as well. So,
I think that one piece of value that we had a call Monday, I took a little information. I went and made a sale with it, for example. And
cool.
I made the $1,500 that it's going to cost me for a good 3 months of service with you. I mean, that you can play it that way. If I can, and that's what I do as well. Is like someone needs advice or wants to talk on strategies, whatever. Let's book some time. I mean, it's a half an hour. Well, let's get some conversation going, and I can give you stuff where I might even learn something back. And then, if it doesn't work, cool. If you want to do business together, let's look at it from there. I mean, because it'll come down in the future. So you are giving back now to get paid later. The way I see it, and it's a good return.
Yeah, teaching is one of the 7 gifts of generosity. So I always love teaching.
Exactly. Well, go to talktotommy.com to talk to Thommy. Book a time on his calendar. Get some good information from him. He's definitely a good resource for us. We're looking at having him work with our team as well. And I'm excited to have our talk after this so we can kind of dive into that a little bit deeper. Everyone, thanks for tuning in. Agents Who Win. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and many other social platforms. Reach out to me if you guys need anything real estate related. Happy to chat. Have a good one, everyone.
All right. Thank you.